What is something weird your body does, but you haven't told anyone about because you know it's not normal? I get what's called brain zaps, where you feel a burst of electricity go through your mind as you're trying to sleep at night. Mostly happens when stressed. Muscle spasms that occur in some parts of the body such as the legs. Edit, pretty sure it's exploding head syndrome from what people have commented. A quick electrical current that travels around my brain within a split second, makes a kind of zinging sound then disappears after my brain is jolted awake again. Ever been in an empty room and you get this really weird feeling as if you are super small and everything is massive? Really strange feeling I would get. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this same feeling. I didn't know how to explain it for the longest time, but it's apparently the tensor tympani muscle contracting when you close your eyes really hard and squeeze, which causes a rumbling noise. I have this sensation like sand flowing down the back of my head sometimes. It's quite weird. If I press the left side of the tip of my nose, the cartilage will often click into place and hold that depressed position until I flare my nostrils and it pops back to normal. Not sure if this is normal or not, but sometimes everything in my ears goes kind of fuzzy and I start hearing a high-pitched ringing noise. Usually only lasts for a few seconds and I don't think it's bad or anything though. I can pop my ankle bone on command when I do this weird movement. Sometimes I get a random, stabbing pain up my vagina/gooch. Just one, then gone. I did tell some people in my family, but I have always randomly gotten this stinging pain inside the left side of my chest at random times. Whenever I breathed it hurt more the deeper I breathed in, but once I breathed in a certain amount, I would be fine until I breathed deeper than the last breath. It rarely happens and has never lasted more than 5 minutes. It's strange. I shake when I'm talking about a topic I find exciting. This is why I'm usually not very chatty. I can make myself wheeze by twisting my torso to the left or right. It's like I partially crush my lungs or something. Uncontrolled muscle twitches and spasms. Sometimes weird, sometimes scary. I get these weird spasms from time to time. I'll be going along and suddenly be like, shit, I am having a heart attack, but it's just my body being odd. If I put my finger in my belly button, I can feel it in my vagina. I am always in some sort of pain. It's not a normal pain. My body doesn't rest when I sleep and as a result I always experience muscle fatigue. When I get negative emotions, my skin feels itchy and burns a bit. For example, if I feel desillusion, this happens, and if the feeling is intense, so the sensation of the skin. Sometimes when I sneeze while sitting down, I get a sharp pain in what I can only venture to guess is my ovaries. It's not every time, but it concerns me whenever it does happen. I can do this thing with any body part when I'm stationary where it's almost like channeling energy into it or activating the nerves. It's really weird to explain, but for example it's easiest in my legs. I can trigger it and I go dizzy and my legs just go warm and fuzzy with sensations, like static I guess in a way if I had to explain it. I can't do it for too long because I feel like I'll pass out. I've seen only 1 or 2 forum posts across the internet about others who are able to do the same thing, never known what it is. I don't do it often, but anytime I wish to I can trigger it as if it's a natural ability/action. I can hear my spine crunching just under my skull when I turn my head. Very rarely I will bend over in a certain way and feel something slide over the top of my last rib on my left side. Generally it slides right back as I stand up straight again and doesn't cause me any pain. I guess it could be a muscle or something, I'm not so sure. Sometimes, though it doesn't happen often, my senses get overloaded and my mind can't cope with it. Sounds seem really loud and unrecognizable. I have to go someplace quiet and focus to stop it. I used to have auditory hallucinations when going to sleep in my teens. Sounded like a crowd of people talking, like a party, and then occasionally a loud shout which I sometimes heard as my name. I never heard what they were actually talking about though. Is it just me or everyone can blur their vision like cameras before they're focused? 10 years ago I got hit by a car and my neck still creaks. Sometimes the center of my chest will get really itchy and I'll itch it and get this rash that will bleed. After a few HRS it goes away. It looks like lots of red splotches and dots on my sternum. If my thigh gets rubbed at a certain spot my testicles feel like they are twitching. I physically cringe and cannot stand when someone folds construction paper around me. I feel it through my entire body and I hate it so much. It doesn't bother me at all so I often don't think about it unless I put my hand there, but there's like an indent in my leg a bit above my right knee. It's what it is, but it's almost like a little crevice. The weird thing is, it's not always there. Sometimes I'll just be sitting on the toilet and notice the indent's back. Weird. When I sleep on my stomach my feet go straight up, bent at the knees. If you try to push them down they are either stiff or pushed down but spring back up. Every time I've ever slept someplace new I get the same comments about my legs doing this weird stuff. I get this weird, indescribable feeling in my throat when having my feet rubbed. Just as I am falling asleep I get a massive explosion in my head, a huge white light and noise. All in my head, over in a flash bang. I have no idea what it is. Sometimes when I walk my knee just doesn't align properly or something and I'll take a weird wobbly step where my leg bends funky. Also sometimes my eyes will rapidly jitter back and forth for like half a second and it's like a mini seizure. It took me 23 years to figure out the weird circles I see sometimes are called eye floaters and not hallucinations. I haven't looked at the specifics though, because I'm scared of it not matching up. I get a weird shock/uncontrollable urge to immediately sit upright if I've been laying flat on my back for too long. I've tried Googling every way I can think to phrase the issue I'm having and I can't find anything. I'm physically incapable of burping, regardless of how much I eat. If I try to pop my butt pimple, I get sharp nerve pain up my spine. Edit, holy crap I think so many people would comment. Let me be more specific. Once in a while I would get a pimple on my butt cheek or back of my old thigh. If I try to squeeze the pimple I get a prickling sensation in the back of my spine. It's not too painful. Last year I had multiple MRI and CT scans done because I had my L4-L5 vertebrae fused. So if there was a cyst that some of you suggested, it would have showed up on those scans, right? I had this weird problem for a long while now. I have an extra set of nipples just above my real nipples, nano in size however very much nips. Very occasionally my heart will kind of spasm. It's hard to describe. It's like I suddenly gets an extra beat, like it's tripping over itself. It happens probably no more often than once a year. Spasms when I take a piss, it just happens, but it's starting to get lesser and lesser the more I grow, so it's like a childhood/teen thing. I have to sneeze twice when I start to sexually fantasize with the real intent of getting off. It is an actual condition called sexually induced sneezing. Never told anyone, except Reddit. Sometimes I have this feeling where I know I am moving at a regular speed but my mind feels like I am speeding and I tell myself to slow down. I'm sober when this happens so I have no clue what's going on. It's bizarre and will randomly occur. It also feels like I'm spinning sometimes when it happens. Like when you spin around quickly and lay down on the floor to have this weird feeling that you feel the world moving. I have to snap myself out of the feeling or it can go on for a few minutes. I've never really felt the whole butterflies in my stomach type of feeling, but I have felt them in my chest. When I feel a big emotion, I very happy, excited, sad, angry, etc. My heart races and I get a light, airy feeling in my chest. As a kid I thought it was normal, now every time it happens it scared the heck out of me because I think it's a heart attack or something. So like I will just be standing doing absolutely nothing, then I get really dizzy and all my limbs go weak for like no reason at all, and it lasts like 2 hours. I don't think it's vertigo because it happens when I'm standing and not standing up, like rising from a chair, but other than that I have no clue. On occasion my pulse goes a little weird. One moment it's steady and then next moment it like speeds up for just a second and then it's back to normal. It's noticeable because when that happens I start to worry that I'm gonna die. And then it's gone. I wondered if perhaps it's arrhythmia because I was anorexic, but I was tested for that at least once each day. Sometimes when I'm about to fall asleep I get this really weird feeling like I'm falling and I can't stop. Like adrenaline rush, grab at something to stop me falling. It will last a second, I'll go back to just lying there wondering what the hell happened. I have Tourette syndrome and my body has changed to many different motor tics over the years. The first thing I eat or drink in a day will sting my soft palate. I just gotta wait for a couple minutes and it goes away completely. I also have a very small hole in the roof of my mouth I can suck air through, but only every once in a while. It's small enough that I can't even see it, and only really notice it when I'm trying to drink a smoothie or SMTH. Occasionally get these weird jolts in the base of my skull / behind my ear when I lift my head too fast from looking down at my phone while walking. I think it's the main nerve that goes from the stem to my hand, as that nerve has a slew of problems related to inflammation of the surrounding tissues, but I used to work in a mobile phone repair store, and apparently I was the only person who could hear the high-frequency audio used during wireless data transfer when setting up a new phone. Not sure if that counts? Sometimes at random times I would just smell some smell that would take me back to my childhood days, then I walk around trying to find the smell, but I just never do. When I was in elementary school I would get these really intense stinging pains in my sides. They would get worse when I straightened out, like standing up from a sitting position. These things would last the majority of the day when they hit, and they were the third most painful things I've felt. Waking up in the middle of a night to create insane amounts of heat. From time to time I wake up in the middle of a night, and, within a minute, my blanket gets super hot. I have to ditch it, open the window, and move into another part of the bed. But then that part of the bed becomes super hot too, so I have to move to another. And keep doing that until my body gets cold again. After such night, I wake up weighing 2 kilograms less than the previous day, and am visibly skinnier. I get this weird fizzing noise at the base of my skull. It sounds like a rain stick or sand. Sometimes I think it sounds like cracking electricity. It happens most if I am hungry and laying down. Just sometimes randomly twitch. Just a little bit. Like, I'll just be walking and my head will jerk to the left by about half a centimeter. It's weird. My thumb is extraordinarily bendy, as in I can bend it nearly 360. I get a weird ee sound in my right ear when I lie a certain way or sit up too fast. It goes away temporarily when I press on a certain spot in my neck. And for the record, I already have permanent tinnitus. That's not what this is. My muscle sometimes twitch and palpitated by itself about 20 seconds. It can happen anywhere on my body. And I don't know why. I actually have dealt with echolalia my entire life but never told anyone. I was really depressed and mentioned to my roommate at the time, who was a nurse, who gave me tips to help. She also tried really hard not to tell me I was autistic, but she wanted me to look into autism, lol. When I take the first bite of food after not eating for a while I get sharp pain from, I believe, my saliva glands starting up. It only does it on that first bite. When I'm trying to fall asleep, I will sometimes suddenly get a tingly feeling in my leg. It's not itchy, it's not twitchy, it's not restless. It just feels weird and I don't know how to make it go away. It also often happens right when I'm trying to fall asleep the night before I have something to do the next day. If I, or especially someone else, touch the right spot on my abdomen when I'm laying on my back, I stretch almost uncontrollably, like a cat getting a belly rub. It also feels very good. My dad said I even did this as a tiny baby. My period often ceases for a day before coming back for the last day. It's become so reliable I get happy when this skip day rolls around because it means the stabbing back pain is almost over. When I am passing a turd I sometimes get bizarre pains in the tip of my penis and elsewhere around my pelvis and my legs will uncontrollably spasm because of the pain. Only lasts for like 5 seconds or so. I think I have a narrowing of the large intestine and when a particularly large turd is passing through a very specific area it somehow causes the pain. I can vibrate my eyeballs. My scales get itchy when I have been wearing the human suit for too long. Even the baby powder doesn't help. I think that it might be fungus, but I went through Deccan like everyone else. Shaky hands. It's inconsistent, sometimes my hands feel really shaky. Usually happens when I'm excited and that's normal, but sometimes it's pretty random, occurring while I do nothing. Edit should probably mention, I'm only 18. Not joking but I have a really bad random orgasm. My body feels nice and tingly, I start to blush real bad, I get hard instantly, and I moan like a girl really loudly. It feels good, but it does get in the way of my daily life. If I flex my tongue the right way I can spray saliva out of my mouth like I'm a spitting cobra. I can manage to push my testicles into my body, like pushing it upwards. Not sure why I can do that, but I can. Kinda NSFW. Very occasionally I'll get an intense throbbing sensation in my earlobes that resonates through my nerves for a moment. It hurts so bad that I'll just drop whatever I'm doing and curl up into a ball while aggressively rubbing my ears to ease the pain. It's very strange, I don't have my ears pierced so I don't think it's an infection but who knows. Doesn't really happen anymore, but when I was younger, sometimes I would feel a tightness in what should be my left lung, below my heart, like I couldn't take a deep breath. So then I'd take a deep breath as deep as I could and hold it and slowly suck in as much air as I could until I would feel a pop in that tight spot and then I would be able to again breathe deeply normally. If I do any minor physical activity my nose runs. I always have to keep tissue nearby no matter what season. I read a story about this woman that had this, doctor kept pushing her away and turned out to be her brain leaking fluid. I also have sudden smells come to me. Strong cigarette smoke is the main one. It's as if someone is smoking right next to me. I randomly get a small dot of pain on a random part of my body, kinda like a needle barely touching my skin. Ever since I was a kid I could lay in my bed in the dark AMD when I stared at the wall/ceiling unfocused for long enough, something looking like a big sphere of soft see-through net appears around me and I'm able to focus on it for a second, and it sort of moves down and towards me before it disappears. I was able to make it appear on purpose with ease when I was small, now it's not as easy, it's barely visible and lasts a shorter time but I'm still able to see it. I think it's something with my eyes, like when you get up too fast or rub your eyes hard and shapes appear, but it appears as though it was a 3D object around me and not just shapes behind my eyes. Oh, I feel like I can hear power outlets buzz, and it irritates me. Also can feel a thunderstorm, it feels like my whole body is poked with electric needles, and I haven't found a good way yet to get rid of it. Any ideas how to ground myself when it feels like I have electricity all over me? Standing barefoot on hardwood floors, touching outlets, or huge metal objects like radiators don't work. I can't say colors correctly without thinking about it. So if I see a car or something, I'll be like, quick, look at that red car. Except the car is white. I know I'm saying the wrong color, but I can't help myself. Anytime I have to say could you pass me that red pen or anything like that, I have to consciously force myself to identify what color it is and say the right one. My mind seems to pick a random color by itself. Absolutely no idea why this happens.